You want to make better music, you want to do it more consistently, and I'm going to show you how in just a couple of minutes. So these are real messages that I've got whenever I was releasing music, right? People who are looking to collab, people saying they love it, this guy begging me to put my song back on Spotify after I took it off. There's plenty more comments and emails that I've received that aren't on here, but basically, I know how to make good music consistently. And you do it by focusing on the artist, not on the music. So let's take a look down here. This looks confusing, I know, but bear with me for just a second. So this is you. You are the artist, and you create music, right? So this is the physical act of creating music, right? Whether that's recording or whatever, producing, right? And the main way to improve your physical creation is through repetition. So doing something 100 times, you're just going to be better at it. Yes, of course, you can learn tips from mentors, and yes, you can have a better plugin, and you can make the mix better, and you can do the physical action better, yes. But the best way to do it better is to just do it more. So the main way to improve the physical creation is through repetition. So that's how to improve the actual action of creating art, but how do you make the art better? So to make the art better, you need to be a better artist. You need to have an artist's internal state. Because your internal state reflects through your physical creation into the music. So if we can improve your artist's internal state, your music's going to improve exponentially. The artist's internal state consists of a few things. So your trust with yourself. So your self-trust when creating music. When you lack trust in your creative ability, you have a fear of failure. And when you have a fear of failure, your mind wants to control the outcome, and therefore you're going to be thinking while you're creating. Ideally, you just allow your energy to just speak through your physical action in flow state without thinking. So you need to trust yourself and not have a fear of failure. And the fear of failure is created whenever you're attached to the outcome, right? So whenever you care how good your music is, you care what your music sounds like, that's when you're attached to the outcome, and emotionally it controls your internal state, so you hold fear. So detach from your music while you're creating it. So instead of creating music, then allowing the music to create your internal state, what you can do is you can cut off the physical perception of the music. And this is talking on an emotional level. So yes, of course, still listen to the songs you make, but don't take any emotional input from the songs. Only allow yourself to project onto the songs. So detach from the outcome, detach from the music. Allow within to project without. Allow the creator to actually create the creation. Don't allow the creation to create the creator. Then flow state and letting go of control. This has to do with these two. Flow state is a state you enter whenever you're completely focused on creation. Letting go of thoughts, letting go of the control, letting go of the fear of creating bad music, and honestly expressing yourself. And what that looks like is having fun or enjoying the process of it. So focus on actually creating the art, not on the art itself, and you'll be capable of making better works. And then the artist's internal state needs to be all-encompassing. The conscious mind likes to compartmentalize things. So you go to work, you're home, you're making music, you're eating food. It sees it all as different things. But in all reality, your subconscious mind doesn't compartmentalize. Your internal state doesn't compartmentalize. So every part of your mind needs to align with this. So whether you're at work or you're just driving home from work or whatever, focus on the internal state of yourself and the actual moments you're in and creating in the moment, instead of letting your mind take over and having fear of failure that you're not producing the right output or that you're not living the right life. So I'm going to break this down again. This is you. You are the artist, and you create music with physical action. This physical action is influenced entirely by your internal beliefs and habits of who you are and how good of art you make, right? So trust that you make the best music possible, because you literally are making the best music possible. You literally couldn't make worse music or better music. You just are making music. And you need to understand that all music is the same music. Art is entirely perception based. So I'm gonna use the example I use all the time. I could look at a brick on the wall and see it as being the best art possible, the best art in the world, give my whole bank account for it. Or I could see the Mona Lisa and just see a bunch of random colors smeared together, right? It's all perception based. So whether you perceive great art when you're creating it or bad art is up to your perception, not to the art itself. And that's what we want to hold. So we take the power from the physical perception of the music and cut it off and allow yourself to have an internal feedback loop that you are making the best music possible, right? So let go of control. Don't think when you're creating music. Allow yourself to access flow state, which is pure focus. Be detached from the actual music you create, and allow yourself to honestly express what's within yourself. So whether you feel emotionally stuck, express that. Whether you feel creatively stuck, express that. If you can't think of anything, express how you can't think of anything. It's so simple that it goes past a lot of people. And then of course, try to hold this true in all aspects of your life. So instead of focusing on making your physical creations better, focus on making your internal state better. And your music will reflect the better internal state. Because once again, the best way to physically create better music is just through repetition. So if you focus on your internal state and continue to just create music consistently, your art's going to improve massively because your technique and your sound is going to get better naturally. And if you're focusing on your internal state, you'll be able to produce better, more rhythmic flow state works than if you're just focusing on the product. Focus on the artist, not the music. So you want an internal state that's ideal for this, but how? So meditate 15 minutes daily. What this is literally sitting down and closing your eyes for 15 minutes. That's all it is. Just sit down and close your eyes. And what this does is it allows your thoughts to settle and you can see clearly and you can express clearly now. Think about rustling dirt in water. So you rustle dirt in water, it'll take 15 seconds or more for that water to settle and be clear again. And your mind is very similar. So all day your thoughts are going and they never have time to settle. So take a second, sit down and close your eyes and let your thoughts settle and you'll see clearly and you'll feel clearly. So that's why meditation is important, because this allows you to access flow state much easier than if your mind was constantly in control all the time. Number 2, you need to shift the focus from the music to the artist. Be the creator that creates the art. Don't let the art create you emotionally, right? See the art as being the best art it could possibly be, because it is, instead of letting the physical world project meaning onto you, right? Instead of looking at my music and seeing it as being quote unquote mid, and then feeling like I'm a mid artist here within, I look at my music and I feel nothing, and I allow my internal state to feedback loop within myself. So shift the focus from the music to the artist. Shift it from without to within. Number 3, allow imperfections to exist. Don't control so much. Allow yourself to flow and quote unquote mess up. Allow yourself to be imperfect and enjoy the imperfection. If you're always trying to make the ideal product, the perfect outcome, the perfect song, then you're going to have the fear of failure and the control again. And that's not what we want. We want flow state. And that means you have to be imperfect. You have to create rhythmically bad songs. I'm not saying you're going to create great music every time rhythmically or in the physical world. I create bad songs all the time. I create terrible songs all the time. But the thing I do is I know that all of my outputs are the same. All of my songs are great songs because it's the best song I could possibly make in that moment. So allow your imperfections to exist and focus on your internal state and cultivate the internal state of an artist. Because artists are not affected by the art they make. The art they make is affected by them. And then while you're creating music, hold intention of creating. While you're creating music, don't look for the outcome. Don't look at the music trying to get validation from the music. Hold just intent of creating. That's why you make music, is to create. So creation is the goal, and you're succeeding. This is the focus, right? The process of creating is the focus, not the actual art, not the actual outcome. So the process of creating is the focus, not the actual music itself, not the actual outcome, but creating. So to be a better artist, focus on being an artist and creating art. Enjoy creating art. Allow yourself to just create art without any weight or any value put on the music itself. So to wrap this all together, if you want to create art that people enjoy listening to and you enjoy making, focus on the artist first and the music second. Focus on this and your internal state and allow the music to just reflect it and don't give any weight to it, right? So meditate, shift your focus from the music to the internal state of you while you're creating. Allow yourself to have fun, allow yourself to be honest, and just create, because that's why you're making music. You're making music to create, not to make a good song. And if you're making music to make a good song, you're probably gonna make bad music, bro. I've mastered creation. I've mastered making music over the past 5 years. I have more YouTube channels I have more YouTube videos on my channel if you want more creative techniques and creative wisdom from me, and if you want to be a better artist and create better art more consistently while feeling better, right? Focus on creation, not the product. Go have fun.